What up guys, it's Nick, and today I am going to be going over getting 5 stars in Jurassic World Evolution on all of the islands. Now this is one of the most popular questions online. I even had the question before I figured it out on my own because there's nothing online about it really. There's like a few answers that aren't very good, but I did find a couple of answers that were pretty good. But I'm just going to show you how I got to 5 stars and explain some of the stuff that I realized along my way. The 3 toughest islands would be TACANO, Pena, and Sorna. Those are the 3 toughest. The first 3 are pretty easy the first 2 are pretty easy in my opinion. I don't have 5 stars on all the islands anymore, so there's the proof that I have the achievement. And these are the islands I use, so here's my first suggestion. Once you hit the optimal dinosaurs, so once you get your dinosaur rating to 5 stars, immediately close your park. I didn't actually do this, but it is a really good tip that I used finally on this island at the very end when I had like 4.9 stars and I could not get it to tick to 5. So your facility rating is 100% based on who's in your park. How many people are in your park and how well are they satisfied. The more people you have in your park, the harder it is to satisfy them. So with this island having 12,000, it is much harder to satisfy 12,000 people in your park than it is to satisfy 2,000 people in your park, like you'll see on Pena where I have 2,000. Really hard to satisfy 12,000. I'm close to the 5 stars, but as you can see, this is generally where I was the entire time. The transport rating is really hard to get high the more people you get in your park. It just is. It just gets harder. And on most islands, this sort of rating right here would be enough to get it done. You need about on average a 70% on the other islands. I found on this island you need closer to what it's at now. High 80 or high 70s, low 80s on everything except transport. If you can get transport to 80, you're just like golden, because I couldn't get it there. I feel like I did a decent job with my transport. It's just not exactly what they wanted. I ended up with everything. So if you this little pathway here, everything there over was not there. And I was close to where I was when I started this video. I was at like 4.5, 4.6, 4.7-ish stars. And it took all of this in a closed park to get it to... I don't actually think I needed all of this, but it took closing the park at least to get it to 5 stars. And it's not really a stable 5 stars, but it was enough to get the achievement because I had 5 stars on all the other islands, and so it was good enough to get the achievement. Money is not really an issue on this island, so I'm not going to go too much into how you need money. I didn't do anything like I did for Pena with the fossils. Fossils carry over between parks. Money doesn't, obviously, but fossils do. And so, where's my fossil center and expedition center? You'll get a lot of these tasks on this island, like power up a power station and all of that different stuff. But the expedition center, if you go into here, and I sent my dig teams, I can't send them anywhere anymore, but if you send them on like 3 missions and they bring back your rewards, you can then go to a different island and all those rewards will be on that new island. So you can sell them on the new island and you can have that money on the new island. That's the only way to transfer money, and is by far the best way to transfer. It's like a, I don't know, best way doesn't make any sense when it's the only way, but it's a really good way to transfer money. Let me just put it that way. I would suggest to start off this park, and it's pretty easy once you start this park to get it rolling. It's just a matter of getting it to the 5 stars, which, like I suggested, if you close the park once you hit 5-star dinosaur rating, it really makes it a whole lot easier to get the 5-star facility rating. I don't really care too much about my facility rating until I have the dinosaurs, because then I can start planning and figuring out, okay, I need to probably put stuff here and here, and then, oh, I don't have any room here, so let me spam a couple here and see if that helps. That type of stuff. But I suggest making 2 pens here. They don't have to look the same as mine, obviously, but 2 pens here. I actually, when I started, had this come all the way down to like here and then come back up. It was a much bigger pen, but the Stegosauruses are actually decently happy. But there's a bunch of Stegosauruses and a bunch of, or not a bunch, there's 1 or 2 Spinosauruses around, so I suggest making a pen here for Spinos and a pen here for Stegas. You can even make a second pen for Stegas, because there is a lot of them, and if you put... I don't think... Let's see. Yeah, 9. There are more than 9, so you could probably make 2 pens of stegas. And on this island, as you can see, I have a poor variety. I don't have that many dinosaurs on this island, and I have a negative 1,000 variety penalty, but I still have plenty of high-level dinosaurs. So I actually didn't get the Spinosaurus for free. I had to actually buy my own Spinosauruses, and so, yeah, I still have Spinosauruses because and personally, in my opinion, the Spinosaurus is the absolute best, hands down best dinosaur for raiding. It's not even remotely close. He is the best dinosaur for raiding, and it's not close because you can have 2 of them in the same pen. And you can get them souped up like I had. These aren't even souped up Spinosauruses. These are only 325 Spinosauruses. You can have them souped up to like 607 maybe, which is just crazy. The Indominus Rex can get up there, but you can only have 1. Down here, this was kind of experimental, but on the islands where you need space, it's a good idea. You don't really need it on this island, but you can do it. It's the one Hammond Creation Lab, and I only have 2 Hammond Creation Labs on this island. The one for my giant pen over here of my Brachys and Aptos and Diplodocuses. And then I have this one down here. So if you open these gates, they'll go into the pens to get water and stuff, and then you can just close the gates so that you can spawn all of your dinosaurs. And for the longest time, I only had this pen and the Spinosaurus Stegosaurus pen, so I had to ACU center dinosaurs not back and forth, but to their new location. So I suggest placing down a second ACU center if you're going to go my route and only have one Hammond Creation Lab for a long time, like I did. Power becomes kind of an issue on this island depending on what you do. So I suggest the large power stations. They're by far the most optimal power stations, so I suggest doing those. Other than that, for suggestions on this island, I like the idea of a large pen over here. They give you a lot of room to put a large pen down here, and then you can fill it with the Aptos and the Brachiosauruses. These aren't even highly gene-modded dinosaurs, and they give you a high amount of rating, 200 per Apto, and I think it's like 224 per Brachy. I have 1 Diplodocus. Diplodocus has quickly become one of my favorite herbivores because you can have 1 in a pen. You don't actually need to have any friends. It's social. Its thing doesn't freak out if you don't have another Diplodocus. The one thing that pisses me off with Brachys is if this Brachiosaurus comes and stands right here, it won't be happy with the forest because it's not close enough. But there's no reason for it to be coming over here, but they still do. I even thought about getting rid of this water here so they'd be forced to get the water over there. But it hasn't been a too big of an issue. I think they broke out once, but it's just kind of a complaint I have. I don't believe innovation and science have anything to do with your rating, but I always like to put them down because they have a nice source of income. I don't even have my science and entertainment high on this one because I was trying to max out security for the achievement on this island while I was playing through. So they're not even maximizing me income, but I did like them. The one optimization thing that I didn't like that I think would have made this a whole lot easier if you're going to copy my island is to move this monorail back a little bit. Take this and either move it up or just arc the fence and move this up so that I could have fit food and clothing stores and stuff like that here, because I think this is one of the main areas where they want it in order to get to like 100% kind of type thing, where they would have been super happy. I think that pretty much does it for this island. It was the island that I struggled with the most from the standpoint of I got it to like 4.8 and I couldn't get it any higher. But like I said, if I would have just closed the gate, would have been a lot easier. I did eventually figure out that you can close the gate, and that helps a lot since it's based on people in your park, not based on like what you have in your park necessarily. So let's move on to the next one that people have the hardest time with, and that is, I guess this is the one that I see the most people asking for help, and that's Isla Pena. Isla Pena. Don't speak Spanish. It's Island Pena. Let's just go with Island Pena. But this is the one that people ask the most help for, and I only found one video that really went over this island, and so I'm going to go over it in some relative detail, but a lot of my suggestions about like the Fossil Center and the Expedition Center, and transferring them. That really helps with this island, because my main suggestion is to scrap this island. They give you a really terrible setup on this island, and personally I hate how they set up this island with that pen down at the bottom. I think it just is poorly designed it's like poorly designed, because it comes here, or it's down here, and I just don't like how it's structurally designed down here. It just annoys me the way they have it. I don't know why that one thing doesn't have power, but I'll do this. That should fix. Oh yeah, there we go. Fixed it. I don't know why that was like that. So I suggest doing it like this. You don't need that many dinosaurs here. I have 3 pens of dinosaurs, and most of my rating comes from these 2 bad boys right here. These 2 Spinosauruses. These are kind of big boy Spinosauruses. 442 dinosaur rating. 2 of them in the pen. I made sure it was big enough that they would always be happy, no breaking out. And I'll have a suggestion for that here coming up in just a second. So, let me talk about the Spinosauruses real quick. Like I said, they can be 2 of them. They're pretty easy to keep happy. They don't need a lot of forests. They need a decent amount of grassland, but it's not a crazy amount. And so it's pretty easy to keep 2 of them happy together. The monorail is one of the things that I had the hardest trouble with here. It's kind of hard to find good places to put them down, because it really restricts you on this island to have monorails. But in order to get 5 stars, monorails are close to necessary in order to do it. I chose to make this area down here kind of my headquarters, with the ranger station and the ACU and expedition, all that different stuff. This pen right here is probably not the most optimal pen. It's probably better to split it in half and have 2 different types of dinosaurs in here, but obviously I was able to get it done with the one large pen. It's just Pentaceratops and a couple of Ankylosauruses in there, not even like the greatest dinosaurs. Up here, this used to be my Spinosaurus one when I initially tried to conceptualize this island, but I ended up moving the Spinosauruses down here because of a higher attraction draw, so more people end up coming down here, is my thought process. I don't actually know if that's how the game works, but my thought process was Spinosauruses are down here, they draw more people, I have the more room down here for them. And then I turned this into like a Mega Stegosaurus and Hyangosaurus or Huangyangosauruses up here. So I thought that was probably the most optimal, is to put the herbivores up here and then put the carnivores down at the bottom. It makes sense from a park standpoint as well, not that you need logic in the park. There used to be a small power station here, but I unlocked the large one, so I went with the more optimal large one. So I did still have a little bit of room here. If I wouldn't have gotten this to 5 stars. But what truly happened here, with me being honest, is I had everything here minus like all of these shops, and I was like at 4.6 stars or something for the facility. I did not close the park here, which was a mistake because I didn't actually know about it at this point. But if you throw these down here, it'll get the job done. It's close enough to a hotel, the monorail, an exhibit. It'll get the job done, but like I said, I suggest closing the park. Makes it so much easier, and then you don't actually have to throw down all of this garbage. But on this island, it's really just about, my suggestion is pretty much just delete everything. Get rid of everything. It's a trash island. The way the game sets you up is just absolutely terrible. It pisses me off how terrible their decision to do what they did is. The way they did it, it's just terrible that the thing is down here and the park entrance is all the way up there, and you're like forced to start down here, but it's a really small pen and you have low money after you buy everything you need, and so you're like starting with Struthiomimuses, and it's just a long grind. I just suggest deleting everything, starting your first pen up in this area, and doing the fossil strategy. It's just way too easy. Once again, I'll say the fossil strategy one more time. You go to like one of the first islands, to whichever island. My first island was super stable, 5 stars. It never fluctuated until I made one huge mistake on it. And so I just constantly went back there. And now let me actually, please let this be a tornado. I wanted to talk quickly about the storm. If this is a tornado, that would just be absolutely fantastic. I don't think it is. I think it's just rain. Okay, so here's what you want to do. So say say this fence is about to get hit by a tornado. I would always track the tornadoes when they come into your park, but say this is about to get hit by a tornado. Yeah, this is just the rain, which the rain actually lowers the comfort on your dinosaur, so be careful with Indominus Rexes when it rains. But say this thing is about to get destroyed, so bring up your fence here, okay, and then go to the demolish mode. So let's say this fence just got hit. So what you're going to do is, you can see the dinosaurs are there. You have a really minimal amount of time. I'll actually delete this one because it's easier. This is a really tight... I guess I'll try it. So it's been destroyed. So you delete it really quick. Then you quickly hit B, and it allows you to swap quickly back to the fence. So I'll show you guys one more time. If you pull this up, you see the storm's coming, and you see that tornado is coming. You go into the fence here, and you get it here, so that immediately when you hit Y, it got hit, okay? So now you destroy it. It brings you back to the fence. You usually whip it around right there, and it's fixed. It'll do this, and it'll say they're a danger to guests, but there's no guests in there. It'll go away. But that's the best way I found to cope with them when they destroy your fence. So that's just a tip, because if you let your dinosaurs out and they eat a bunch of people, it really hurts your ratings, and then it hurts your money, and then you got to sit there and wait a bunch of time. So that's a suggestion I have, is to do exactly what I did there. It's really easy. It's really fast. I think you can do it even faster on PC, but just get the fence out, hit Y, get the delete up. As soon as it says repair, delete it, hit B again, drag this over, and there you go. Your pen is sealed back up, and it's so much better than bringing them to repair. Obviously, it costs you a little bit more money, but other than that, I think it's the best suggestion for dealing with weather. Final island I'll talk about is TACANO here. This is the island where you start out in the negative. I didn't have too much trouble with this, but I clearly had more trouble than the first island. And like I said, I'll talk about the one issue I made on the first island real quick at the end of the video. But this is the final island I will talk about getting 5 stars in. Like I said, or like I'll say, most of the time it's better to get an island to 3 stars and lock the next one. Go to the next island and put down a expedition center and fossil center and research center. Then go back to your first island and do the strategy. Because then it helps you with money, it helps you with finding new dinosaurs to put down. Because a lot of the later dinosaurs are a lot better than the early dinosaurs, which makes obvious sense. And if you can get an Indominus Rex or good Spinosauruses, they're probably by far the best things to put down. Even though some herbivores, you can have some good herbivores. I really like the Brachy's and the Aptos. They do a really good job of getting stuff there. But this island, as you can see, I kept pretty much the nice integrity to the start here. I had to delete a couple of stuff I already had. I think I deleted the clothing and the fast food and stuff like that. But I kept everything else. And I turned the Innovation Center, when you delete it, is worth a lot of money. You pretty much just have to delete the innovation. But other than that, they start you with this pen. Just release Struthiomimuses. Really quick, just release a bunch of Struthiomimuses. It'll help some economy. And then start this pen here. Try to save up to get a T-Rex or Spinosaurus or whatever you are at this point in the game. I think it's just T-Rex is your best option. I think this is a pretty garbage T-Rex. Yeah, it is. So release Struthiomimuses, and then when you get a chance, get some Ankies or something else out. If you're still struggling to get the T-Rex, the Ankies will really help. They'll bring in more people, and you'll be able to further your money. Then you'll want to head up this way. I kept the power station here. You don't necessarily have to, but I didn't really want to delete and move it, so I kept it. And there's still the small power stations here. I never came back and optimized, but I came up here next and made this bigger pen. I know the Brachy's are still kind of unhappy up here. They're fine. Their comfort is 100 and all that, but they're a little unhappy with the forest and the grassland. It's a little too small for them, but still pretty good. It would probably help if I shrunk the size of this pond. This is a gigantic pond that I realized later in the game you can have like a mini pond and your dinosaurs will be happy. But if I shrink that a little bit, I bet this Brachy... We'll try this Brachy. I bet this Brachy is a lot happier. Yeah, look how much happier that Brachy is when I get rid of the water. The monorails are pretty easy to put down. It's kind of hard. I made too big of a pen, I think, and it was hard to get like food and stuff around the pen where people really want it. But overall, this island is pretty easy from the standpoint of money. I didn't even like optimize power and stuff like that on this island or anything like that. I made the mistake. Past this point, I had 5-star dinosaur rating, I did not have to come down here, which I have so many of these weird Maiasaurus and Parasolopithecus. I don't even suggest putting these in, but they worked. But I didn't actually have to put in these things down here. I think I just needed like the Ceratosaurus and that was it to get 5 stars. But I decided it would be, this was before I kind of figured out the full game, but I decided it'd be a good idea to come down here and put all them in and then throw all this crap around them. But it actually hurt me because, like I talked about earlier, the more guests, the harder it is to get 5-star facility rating. But overall, this is a pretty easy park. You can probably complete it if you just cut off here where I did and put like a hotel and some stuff down here and a monorail. And it probably would have got me to 5 stars if I would have closed my park. But I didn't, and so this is the end product that got me to 5 stars, was eventually spamming clothing stores right here. 2 clothing stores, and I think that's what, or no, 3 clothing stores, and that's when it popped to the 5 stars. So the final thing I'll talk about in this episode is the Monticeros, the first island. The huge mistake that I made wasn't like an enormous mistake, but it was semi-costing to me. It cost me a little bit of time because I was using this island to farm my money for my other islands. And when it started dipping below 5 stars, it became an issue. It used to be a steady 5 stars, never fluctuated off of being a 5-star island until I made one big mistake. And now I realize why it was such a big mistake, because of the extra people in the park. It makes it harder to satisfy all of them. Like, I understand that in my mind now that that's what happened. But at the time, I couldn't figure it out. So I wasted like 2 hours on this park trying to figure out why on earth it was doing this. So on this island, I had this whole island the way it is, except for this, from this clothing shop all the way over here. So these two pens that I have weren't there. And when I put those pens in, it started messing with my rating. And I couldn't figure out why, but it's because the more people, more dinosaurs, more people come to your park. So I suggest with this island, not even going up there. You can easily get 5 stars without ever going to this part of the map. You can really get 5 stars easy without even going to like some of this part of the map. It's really easy to get 5 stars on this first map, so don't overthink it. Don't put too much stuff down on the first island while you're going for this achievement. But that's going to do it, guys. That's my tips and tricks to get the 5 stars on the different islands. I think in my next video for this, I'm going to... Oops, I already got, these are my unlocked. I'm going to go back and do some videos on completing all the missions. I don't have most of the missions done, as you can see. We'll go into this. Oops, wrong thing. Island navigation. I only have the first island done and then 1 mission on Muerta. So I'd like to go back and try to complete. I have the mission unlocked on Muerta for the entertainment, but I would like to go back and complete all of those. So maybe I'll do a series about completing all of those. I almost have this game fully completed. So I'd like to 100% it at this point. I'm pretty close. They're releasing at least one every dinosaur is pretty hard, and all INGEN database entries is pretty hard. I don't even think I'm close. I'm missing 10 dinosaurs, 7 dig sites, 4 paleontology, 26 archives, 5 locations, and 6 genes. I'm actually I'm actually a lot closer than I thought. Probably in the process of getting all those missions done, I will get absolutely... I might actually get there, and then I would just have to release all the dinosaurs, which is really easy. If you just go to the final island, you can do pretty much all the achievements there. You can turn weather, breaking out, all that stuff off. Really easy, and so be able to get them all there. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Also going to be doing my second playthrough of Detroit. I'm going to record that. I'm mapping it out currently, so I still have to finish mapping it out. So I could get a platinum trophy on Detroit. But we'll be doing the first new game that I'm going to be doing on my channel, I guess. This channel will be Nier Automata when it comes out on the Xbox. I never played it on the PlayStation, so I'm looking forward to playing it on the Xbox. But guys, that's going to do it. Drop the video a like if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out.